Hey, you know what? We're actually here. We're live. We're coming to you from the Dayton Hamvention 2012. And let's let the announcer guy do his bit real quick here.
You're listening to the QSO Radio Show. Brought to you by Ham Test Online and Transworld Antennas. And now your host, with the only wolf hung in the southeast United States. Very few people know that. Ted Randall.
Hey, I don't know. I've got Ted with me here. I'm Ted, and also he's Ted. And I'm going to let you introduce yourself. If you see if you can speak into the microphone there.
Test one. Sounds good to me. A little low.
Try it again.
1, 2, 3. There we go.
There's always these adjustments you have to get into.
Oh, yeah.
It's like chiropractic radio.
But it's like amateur radio. No, wait a minute. It's ham radio.
No,
I don't
we
want to
are
get
amateurs.
the wrong idea.
So anyhow, Ted is with us here. Ted is with Telos Omnia Systems, the broadcast company out of Cleveland, Ohio.
Yeah, I remember when you were breaking in the WWT or the WTWW transmitter. Got to get all those W's in there, right?
Uh-huh.
And you were talking about audio processing. That's just one of the things that I do.
So you do audio processing.
And then I do an oldies radio show on a radio station out of Seattle. And a bunch of engineering stuff on the side
Well,
that
how do
nobody
you do
much
that?
else
If
is
you live in
interested in.
Cleveland, how can you broadcast out of a Seattle radio station?
The magic of wires, the magic of the internet. No, it's like if we're broadcasting with a transmitter in Tennessee right now, and we're in Dayton, Ohio, how do you get from here to there? The magic of wires, internet, digital.
Now, see, we came 65 to 71 to 75. I don't know. I was asleep for the second half of the trip. So I don't know how we
That's
got
what that big long wire was hanging out of your car. It goes back from Dayton to Tennessee.
Yeah, that's exactly what that is. I was going to say, the broadcast business, of course, has changed. Amateur radio has changed. I don't guess anything's remained the same, anywhere near the same. As a matter of fact, I would have to say in both arenas, in amateur radio as well as commercial broadcast radio, what we have today doesn't even resemble what we had 10 years ago. I mean, it's like you can't. I mean, it's like if you were like Rip Van Winkle, you fell asleep 10 years ago and you woke up today, you'd be going, what is all this?
Well, compared to the very first Dayton Hamvention that I was to, was 50 years ago this week. Well, when they were having the Dayton Hamvention. It was 1962. And at that time, there may be a couple thousand people showing up. It was a hotel-type convention, and we have what we'll call a flea market here, where people pull up out and back, and they have tents and equipment set up. At the hotel in downtown Dayton, Ohio, these people just pulled their cars in. They had their trunks open. It was like a totally different atmosphere. Well, this is a half a century ago. Ham radio has changed a lot since then, as well, as Ted was saying. We're talking about back in those days, we were just getting into SSB communications. Mm-hmm. Most of it was still AM. Digital, what was that? Computer, what was that? Was that an ENIAC? Computer. What do we have as far as computers in 1962? Compared to what we have now, if it wasn't for digital technology, we wouldn't be on the air live from Dayton, Ohio we'd have to rent a what we would call an equalized telephone line, and that would be wire to wire to wire to wire to wire. You'd have to equalize it every couple of miles, literally. This is something that, if you're an audio engineer, you understand. If not, just the technology, being able to digitize something, transmit it, recover it with near perfect quality. The stuff in the last 50 years that I have seen is just amazing.
Okay, now what is SSB? You said SS. Do you say something like SSB?
Yeah, it's a sideband, I believe it stands for.
Ah, I see. Oh, I didn't know. I thought you were, who was that? Somebody the other day I was talking to. Maybe it was a guest that was on the show, and the subject of single sideband came up, and he started talking about how he had started off. Yeah, it had to be the guy I was talking to. Anyways, he made the statement. He said he had this old radio, and he said he kept tuning it around, and he got tired of listening to foreign broadcasts on shortwave. And we go to amateur. But as soon as he went to amateur, he said he would start tuning around, and he did this perfect imitation.
Oh, sort of like.
Yeah.
See, you'll learn to do that after all those years.
It was perfect, though. Get up a little closer to the microphone and do that again. See if we can. There you go. You got it. You got it now.
That's when you listen to an SSB signal on an AM radio.
Now, let me ask you a question. Was that upper or lower?
Let's see. I think I had some dental work done the other day, so mine was the uppers.
I thought it was lower.
Well, you know, it's interesting, though. It's like both of my sons, they both got ham tickets. And we got to talking. Well, this is up a little bit here. Can we, is there any way we can turn the, I don't guess we have an equalization control on the PA amplifier. Maybe some Kleenex in the tweeters. Anyways, no, something is coming back to me loud. I'm wondering, is it possible one of those headsets? The headsets. Can we turn the unused headsets down? Yeah, that's about that. Now I'm not hearing it. Did you hear that whistle in there before? Feedback. It sounded like I had false teeth. You know how you whistle? That's what it was.
There's nothing wrong here, Ted. It sort of sounds that way. It's a filter.
I've lost my... if you're listening, go to the website, which is simply QSOradioshow.com, QSOradioshow.com, and send us an email. Send us an email. Now, there's a place up there where you can do that, and it'll pop right in. Of course, you can send it to me direct if you want to, which is simply Ted Randall at tedrandall.com, TEDRANDALL, Ted Randall at tedrandall.com. Put on your email, I want to win, because we're always giving stuff away, and we want you to win something. If you put I want to win on there, then we put it in the box for drawing later on. But anyway, send us an email. Tell us where you're listening. Got any questions for any of our guests? We'd love to hear from you. And just let us know that you're out there listening. You're listening by means of 9990. And at this point, I don't know whether we're on 9330. But we may be. So we may be coming to you through one of those places, and of course the online stream. But you went through the radio changes in basically Cleveland.
In Cleveland and Northeast Ohio, but also nationally. You watched it. Cleveland is a major market. Ted, you've worked in Detroit as well. And you watched all this stuff happen. The whole change of the broadcast industry it's like a different world. Back in the early 1960s, there was no such thing as consolidation. You had to, I'm hearing that little bit of stuff in there now too.
Yeah.
You could only own 7 AM, 7 FM, and 7 television stations, and only 5 of those TV stations could be VHF stations, because there was a very definite prohibition against consolidation and too much of a concentration of control. That's been changed lately for, my opinion, the worst. But again, I don't know how to justify the concentration of control personally. I can understand the business aspect of it, but there's been a lot of changes. Back in the early 1960s and really prior to that, hardly anybody was listening to FM radio at the time. Shortwave broadcast, like we're doing right now, was incredibly huge. Every country had to have a voice throughout the world, especially if you were a shortwave listener years ago. Radio Moscow was everywhere. There seemed to be about 15 or 20 transmitters. You had Britain was on the air, Japan was on the air. Everybody